America's proudest achievement is our infrastructure. From recognizable icons like the Interstate Highway System and the Hoover Dam, to the seldom noticed but critically important power lines that bring electricity to our homes, and the water mains that feed our faucets, not to mention the nearly invisible fiber optics and the totally invisible cell signals that connect Sheboygan to Shangri-La. Infrastructure. It's with us from the first flush of the toilet in the morning to flipping off the last light switch at night.
You just could look out the window in any office building in America and you can see so much of the infrastructure. You see power lines, you see cars, you see a train, you can maybe, if you're in the right city, see ships. You can look on your desk and see your computer and your telephone. It is a fascinating system, but it's fragile because it's all about throughput. Infrastructure is about how many cars, trucks, planes, trains, ships, people, data that you can put through the pipeline of the infrastructure. When there's more stuff to move than there is infrastructure to carry it, you got a problem. If you don't have an infrastructure, you are out of business. And you can almost draw a line that shows you when the infrastructure is impeded and limited, your economic growth is slowed down or stopped.
Our infrastructure was once America's proudest achievement. Today, some of these systems are outdated, overwhelmed, and in some places literally falling apart, while others need continued investment for expansion and upgrades to meet increased demand. By 2050, U.S. population will soar to 420 million people, adding the equivalent of 11 cities the size of Los Angeles and creating even more demand on our infrastructure. Without increased investment in our land, air, and water transportation systems, we will sit on runways and in traffic longer and longer and swerve to miss more and more potholes. Right now, leaking pipes lose an estimated 7 billion gallons of clean drinking water a day, and these pipes will lose even more if the problem is not addressed. Even with conservation and efficiency, more energy will be needed. And yet, in the last few years, over 375 energy projects, including solar farms, windmills, nuclear plants, and transmission lines, have been delayed or killed by people saying, "Not in my backyard."
If you don't have it, you can't compete.
And broadband networks will require constant investment to keep up with all of the new bits and bytes that are generated every day and in the future. 24/7, in every corner of the globe, transportation, energy, broadband, and water systems are at the heart of America's $13 trillion economy. And to the world's population that buys 95% of what American businesses make.
We as consumers have an abundance of the things that we need, whether it's the basic essentials of life, food, clothing, the materials of which to build our homes, or whether it's products that add to the enjoyment of life, that add to the quality of life. We have everything we need, and we don't even think about it. And that's because we have the infrastructure to deliver these things to us in a cost-effective fashion so that we get them when we need them as we expect them.
So America's challenge today is to rebuild our infrastructure, to maintain, modernize, and expand it in anticipation of the generations to come.
I think it's time for Americans to stop for a minute and figure out what makes their personal mobility and their economic strength, and it's the infrastructure of the United States.